This is the second of 3 short videos reviewing FOIL and factor. In this video, we'll focus on factoring. So in the last video, we saw that FOILing was a way to multiply 2 binomials. So for example, if you were given x plus 1 times x plus 5, to FOIL means to multiply x times x, the first times the first, the outer terms of x and 5, the inner terms of 1 and x, and the last terms of 1 and 5. And then after combining like terms, we would arrive at x squared plus 6x plus 5. Now here what we're doing is we're basically reversing the process. So we will be given things such as x squared plus 6x plus 5, and we'll be finding what 2 binomials would multiply to give that back. So this is just kind of an introduction to factoring. This topic is investigated in much more detail in Power Math Camp 2. So as a first example, x squared plus 8x plus 15 is what we're factoring. And I don't think I'll have too hard of a time convincing you all that x squared, our first term, could come from x times x. To work on the other parts though, we have this 8x in the middle and this 15 at the end. Let's think about numbers that multiply to 15 and add to 8. So this is kind of our little way to work these factoring problems. So if I think about multiplying to 15, I could do 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. And technically -1 times -15 or -3 times -5, but that won't be necessary here because everybody's positive. And then a quick check will show us that 1 plus 15 is 16, not 8. So this guy is no good. But 3 plus 5 is 8, which is what we wanted. So that's basically enough to tell us that we need to have a plus 3 and a plus 5 to make this work. Notice that the order in which I write my binomials doesn't matter. So here I could have just as easily have written x plus 5 times x plus 3, and that would have also been correct. A good way to check your work whenever you're factoring is simply to FOIL. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my final factored answer here as x plus 3 times x plus 5, and I'll leave you the job of checking by FOIL. And then one more problem. This one asks us to factor x squared minus 7x plus 12. So again, I'll start off by saying x squared would have come from x times x. And now we're trying to find 2 numbers that multiply to 12 and add here to -7. So now we have a negative number involved. Things have gotten a little bit more complicated. So when we make our list of ways to multiply to 12, something you might be doing in your head, I'm going to make my list a bit more extensive. Because 1 times 12 would multiply to 12, but I know in this case I need to also consider my negative factors. So -1 times -12, positive 2 and positive 6, or -2 and -6, positive 3 and positive 4, or -3 and -4. So a lot of times people do all this side work in their heads, but I'm just writing it all out to show you how I'm able to come up with the correct pair. If I walked through each of these and added up what the result would be, the only pair that would add to -7 would be -3 and -4. So x minus 3 times x minus 4 would be our factored form. And as we noted in the previous example, if you want to flip around the order, in this case we could have also said x minus 4, x minus 3. Both of those would FOIL back to the original. I'll leave the check for this one to you as well. This is just a brief introduction to factoring, but if you feel good, please go ahead and try out some practice. And after that, there is one more video under this topic which will look at solving by factoring. So hopefully you can try that one out as well.